Hi, I'm Marty Nemko. This is another of my short stories from the next printing of my book, Little Doggy Stories. This one is called Best in Class. I was bored with teaching. Most kids care less about learning than about the 3 F's: friends, fooling around, and, even in the 5th grade, flirting. And then there's my mounting paperwork, reporting mandates for the district, for the county, for the state, the feds. Who has time to give and therefore correct writing assignments, which would do a lot more good than all that bureaucratic crap? And then there's the curriculum. School's always been boring, but the Common Core curriculum, in the name of high standards, as defined by ivory tower academics, has increased boredom to a whole new level. Here's just one of its many standards. I'm quoting verbatim number 5GA. Use a pair of perpendicular number lines called axes to define a coordinate system with the intersection of the lines, the origin, arranged to coincide with the 0 on each line and a given point in the plane located by or using an ordered pair of numbers called as coordinates. Understand that the first number indicates how far to travel from the origin in the direction of one axis, and the second number indicates how far to travel in the direction of the second axis, with the convention that the names of the 2 axes in the coordinates correspond, e.g. x-axis and x-coordinate, y-axis and y-coordinate. Who the hell, other than maybe engineers, architects, and supervising carpenters, need to know that? Yet every student is required to be taught that. I doubt that many actually learn it, let alone the myriad other standards. Even now in adulthood, I've never used 99% of the standards, certainly the math standards. How about you? So I had an idea. What if we rescued a dog from the pound that was about to be euthanized and had it as the class mascot? We would save a life, of course, and each night one child would take the dog home, care for it, and bring it back in the morning. What a meaningful and fun way to teach responsibility and empathy. I asked the principal. She said no. Fleas, allergies, and our insurance wouldn't cover it. I gave perfectly reasonable answers. There are now excellent flea topicals that need to be applied only monthly, which of course we'd use. We'd get only a hypoallergenic dog, like a poodle mix. Regarding insurance, we'd speak with the carrier. I'm sure that for a nominal amount we could add a rider. She said no. I appealed to the school board. No. I then tried asking the biggest donor to our school's foundation if she'd intervene. She did, and we got permission to do a trial month. If there was a problem, the dog would be returned to the pound. So we signed up for alerts at all of the local dog rescue sites and stipulated that we only wanted a dog that was hypoallergenic, gentle and kind, and was at risk of being euthanized. 2 weeks later, we got a notice that a candidate was available. While sweet and hypoallergenic, she soon would be killed because she was 10 years old and had, in candor, an ugly face. When we got there, despite the face, it was unanimous love at first sight. The dog sidled up against our legs, and if we bent down, kissed us. We asked the attendant what the dog's name was, and she said the dog was a stray with no tags and no chips, so we could name it whatever we wanted. The kids wanted to name it after Taylor Swift, so we quickly agreed to call her Swiftie. And all went very well. The first night's caretaker was a shy girl, but came alive with Swiftie. The second night it was a boy who was a bit of a bully, but was so sweet with Swiftie, and we knew he treated Swiftie well that night because in the morning Swiftie stayed by his side. Alas, the third night was, nightmare. The child, Jessica, was a particularly caring kid, and when she got home with the dog, she felt that Swiftie's collar was a bit tight, so she loosened it just a bit, and it seemed to her like it wouldn't come off. But when Jessica took Swiftie for a walk, the dog pulled, slipped out of her collar, and ran away. Jessica ran after her, but soon lost sight of her. She ran back to the house. She and her parents drove around yelling for Swiftie, while the mother called the teacher, the cops, and the pound. Of course, even though the school was a half-mile away, probably too far for Swiftie to find, especially because Swiftie had only been there for 3 days, they drove to the school and Jessica stayed by the classroom door while her parents ran around yelling, "Swiftie!" At 10 p.m., exhausted, they gave up. But in the morning, there was Swiftie, sleeping in front of the classroom door. I guess after some hours of exploration, it was sleepy time, and she knew where her bread was buttered. Or I should say, where her kibble was dispensed. I'll bet that there's been more learning of value, more caring, more responsibility in those few days with Swiftie than anything I've ever taught. Even use a pair of perpendicular number lines. Anyway, That story is called Best in Class. As usual, I welcome your thumbs up and accept your thumbs down. I always look forward to your comments, and especially like it if you hit the share button below. Share on your social media so that my efforts can have broader impact. And I am flattered if you choose to subscribe to my channel. And certainly would welcome your taking a look at any of my 31 books, the most recent of which is Little Doggy Stories, of which this is one. They're all, though, on Amazon. Just go there and search on my name, Marty Nemko, Nemko, and you will find more than you can stomach. In any event, I do thank you for watching. I am Marty Nemko.